it going? It's Metal, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to my super late Resident Evil 3 Remake review by Capcom. Let's get right into it, guys. So the Resident Evil 3 Remake follows the outbreak in Raccoon City. It has gotten a lot worse. You as the player take control of Valentine, and you join forces with the mercenary Carlos, pretty much alongside with all of his other members, and inside of the subway station. And the goal is to get everyone out of Raccoon City, just evacuate everybody out of there to get on the subway station and then hopefully escape the Umbrella's big evil plan that they have for Raccoon City. The Umbrella Corporation is out to release and create their ultimate creation project, their bioweapon known as Nemesis, this big hulking monster that is out to destroy the entirety of the Star's police force. And Valentine just so happens to be one of those members of the Star's police force that just so happened to survive in the mansion in the first game. So now this game has fans divided in many different ways. The most widely discussed criticism is that the game's length is way too short and that it's only 5 hours, and everyone's complaining about it, and I really don't want to fall in that camp. I think that it's a good game in its own right. I do like a lot of things about the Resident Evil 3 remake, but then there's also things that fall short. You know, the most obvious thing that you can point out is the clock tower is completely absent in this game. It really aggravates me that this game was not entirely finished. It was just simply rushed out for time constraints. But this game, it really falls short. I do think it's a good game still. I think it's a whole lot of fun. There's a few good scares here and there, and Nemesis himself is really disappointing. Definitely, I was kind of hoping for Nemesis to be a little bit like Mr. X in the second game, and I thought that Mr. X was a hulking beast in the second game, but Nemesis's whole betrayal in this game just feels a little bit too cinematic and just filled with cutscene set pieces, and it just didn't quite work for me. I thought that Nemesis could have been better incorporated inside of the gameplay, of the game. That's a big core of the gameplay, just like in the original game, because the original game right here, I really liked. I really liked the original game for the GameCube. Well, this was actually a port of the PS1 game. Yeah, the GameCube version is actually the best port of the game. It's actually the best version of the game you can get, the original Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. There was a lot of puzzles in the original Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. The entire clock tower section was a whole lot of fun. It's missing all of the creepy spider.
Yeah, so the one thing I forgot to mention in the review, while I was editing and looking back over the footage, I forgot to mention that we do get to physically see the clock tower itself, but we don't ever get to explore it, which was really unfortunate. It was a complete missed opportunity on Capcom's part to include in this game, but yeah, that's the one thing I forgot to mention, so yeah, there we go.
It really doesn't justify its $60 price tag. And now, I actually paid about $65 for this game. I had it mailed to me from eBay, because I couldn't find it anywhere in stores. The physical copy was almost nearly impossible to find in stores until about a week or two later I started seeing copies in Walmart.
So the one thing I've kind of noticed with the Resident Evil 3 remake is very noticeable towards the end of the game, where you're kind of like searching for samples for the vaccine inside of like the scientists' labs and the experiments and stuff like that. I've actually noticed that, Capcom kind of reused a lot of assets from the Resident Evil 2 remake, which is, of course, right here. And I thought that was pretty unfortunate and pretty disappointing. And I kind of wish that they kind of did something a little bit different and kind of followed the original game a little bit more. And I just think that it would have made the game increasingly better, and it would have helped with the runtime as well. So, and it kind of really, it would have tremendously helped with the game's length entirely, with more content and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's kind of what I think, and that's what Capcom should have done. But overall, still a really good game.
There are a lot of things that it does improve upon the original, but it doesn't completely improve it, and that is a bit disappointing. I did, however, like the story. I thought that they really did improve upon the story a lot. Like especially towards like the end of the game, I thought it was really well done. Resi 3 remake was good. It's just lacking of content in many different areas. So now, like I said, I don't want to be a part of the same camp that everyone else is in, but it's hard not to acknowledge that this game is lacking of content in all different areas, in a lot of different areas, in fact. But however, it is still very, very fun, and I did enjoy myself playing it. It is a good time, and the graphics are amazing. I mean, the biggest improvement of these Resident Evil remakes that Capcom is doing with these remakes is definitely the graphics and the just the overall presentation and the the really cool aesthetics with this game is just breathtaking. I mean, the visuals. It's some of the best looking Resident Evil games out there. It's up there with the Resident Evil remake of the first game, and then Resi 2 was great, and then now Resi 3 has that same great treatment, but not really treated the best in my opinion, but I thought that it could have been executed a lot better. This definitely is this game is a little bit more of on the action style of gameplay. Very similar to Resident Evil 4, but not entirely Resident Evil 4. But it's definitely a more action-oriented game for sure. And the puzzles, I could use more puzzles for sure, like in the original, because I really do like the puzzles in the Resident Evil franchise. I think they're a lot of fun. It makes sure you use your brain a lot more. And it's a very strategic way to play a video game, in my opinion. So I wish that there could have been a little bit more puzzles to do. But that's other than that, I enjoyed myself. I thought it was a good game. I thought it was a lot better than what people were seeing it was. It's definitely not the worst game out there. I've played way worse games out there, and this is definitely not one of them. So what did you guys think of the Resident Evil 3 remake? I'm probably going to give the Resident Evil 3 remake a B-. It's an enjoyable game. I had a lot of fun with it. It's actually scary in some aspects, and in some aspects it's kind of just a lot of missed opportunities, I will say that. So what did you guys think of the Resident Evil 3 remake? I would love to know. I will be sure to read all your comments. I never leave you guys hanging. You guys all know that already. So until next time, everybody, take it easy, guys, and take care, everyone.